Hello and welcome to the Spinning Backfist MMA show. Oh, I didn't do the normal one. I usually go, "We are live," like Bruce Buffer. I did the My Mom's Basement intro.
I felt
for
a little
one.
weird.
All messed up. It felt weird coming out of my mouth. I had to stop myself. Let's do take two. We are live for the Spinning Backfist MMA show. It is Robbie Fox, Jack Mack, and Big Ev as always, and we are here. Brought to you by Game Time, one of our favorite sponsors. Of course, you've heard us talk about them in the past. The best part of college basketball is here, and we know you're as excited as we are to watch some big upsets throughout the tournament. Whether you're streaming in the cave, while we're streaming in the cave, rather, you can get out to see the action in person with Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the app actually go down as it gets closer to showtime. Plus, the Game Time Picks feature makes it even easier to find the great deals on the seats you want. You can even find last-minute tickets for the tournament for up to 60% off quickly and easily. You just pull up the GT Picks setting at the top of your screen, browse the best local Game Time Picks near you. Any deal, we obviously have the Garden right down the block. You get more than college basketball. You get concerts, comedy shows, WWE events, whatever it may be.
Also, Robbie,
what?
The Sweet 16 Elite 8 is right across the river in Jersey, right near where both of you live.
Oh, shit, really?
This upcoming weekend. Some great teams there. Some great games.
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
So if you're looking to get out to those, Game Time's the way.
Game Time is the way. And to take the guesswork out of buying tickets, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BACKFIST for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BACKFIST, BACKFIST for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. All right, boys, how we doing?
London card kicked my ass. It was boring.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It didn't go my way. That I felt like there was a lot of bets that I just I didn't think were bad. Like Puja Tomar obviously knocks out Sean Abandon. And then Jai Herbert, I'm not saying it's a robbery at all, but I thought he won the fight, and then also he didn't really get going until the third round. I feel like he could have fought a little bit better. But I still would have bet that again. I think he was the much better fighter. And then Gunnar, I saw
Magic tweeting about Gunnar. Yeah, like if he didn't get dropped at the end of the first round. Yeah,
and then also, do I kind of regret that bet? Maybe a little bit, but I also look at it and think he was in on the head and arm choke. It was right there, and if you told me that, I would have
typical Holland thing. Holland was. I mean, who could predict that Holland also was coming to grapple? Like he was down to fight this time. You can never predict it with him now.
I should have but I feel as if a few things go differently. It would have been a great card, but that's just how it goes. And Sean Brady, I mean, what a performance! Really, really, really impressive. I was happy that I bet him, but outside of that, there was some tough bets by me, which is the name of the game, and kind of a boring card. When it's an exciting card and you have bad bets, it's like, okay, whatever. But when you're losing split decisions, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Leon. And Brady, that was a masterclass. That was a shutout. Also kind of what the thumbnail was. Well, Leon's in a very weird spot. I don't know what you really do with him from here. Like two bad, underwhelming performances in a row. He might just become like the greatest gatekeeper of all time, like the GOAT gatekeeper. Because he's just like in a spot where, like, for him to get back to a title shot, he'd have to go on some run. Like, I don't think he's not one of those guys at this point where he's like a Poirier, where it's like one big like fight away, you're back, big knockout, you're back. But also he's like, I just don't know where you really go with him. I mean, Brady's in a interesting spot because I think there's so many 170 contenders right now, and it really is weird because you're sitting there with I'm sitting there and I think there's, after that performance, there's like three guys that deserve a shot more than JDM.
Yeah,
but JDM kind of just luck of the draw, right spot, right time. I mean, Brady obviously is in a good spot. Buckley's in a good spot. Obviously, Shavkat's just sitting there, kind of waiting for his title shot that he was gonna get and then got injured. Free Cain.
Yep.
Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of Jan robbed talk in the chat.
I thought robbery's probably strong, but
Robbery's strong, but I thought he won too.
I thought he definitely won the fight. I was pretty surprised that it was unanimous.
I've been seeing some people say they should do Leon, Ian, Gary just to give him a striker.
Yeah,
that fight makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, Leon, I looked really good on the feet. I thought he looked almost as fast as he's ever looked. Obviously, he's a little bit older, but obviously the takedown attempt was a little bit bizarre because I thought he kind of injured Sean a little bit early in that third round. And then, not to say Sean was on like shaky feet or shaky legs, but there's always that thought with Leon, oh, it's never over. But it just, that choke by Sean, and shout out Paul Felder, he called it right away. He was like, it's over.
Oh, he knew.
And
yeah.
I thought there was a lot. I was looking, I was like, I don't know. And he was like, no. Now he's like, he's done that to me. It's over. And
you rarely hear commentators like put that stamp on it so definitively, like this fight is over. And sometimes you'll hear like Rogan or DC do it and they're wrong. They're like, it's over. And then they slip out. Felder fucking knew the fight was over.
Felder, and he was like, no, it's over. And I mean, that really goes to show his top control, his top pressure. Like Sean is just, I mean, he's a fucking beast on top. And
it did sound like Felder was about to cry too. And I texted it to you guys. I didn't mean it as like a bad thing. I thought it was kind of cool that like Felder was like, his voice was shaky calling the win. I thought that was kind of like sweet.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Obviously, Sean's been through a lot personally. Obviously he's clean now, and I'm just really.
It seemed like they had more beef after the fight than before the fight too. Did you see Sean talking to Ariel yesterday about how like he didn't like how Leon kind of brushed him off? He went up to him after the fight, said, "You're a great champion. Like, I respect you." Leon brushed him off and he was like, "Fuck them. Fuck their whole team." He's like, I was prepared if he was going to try to put that fucking water pistol up to my head at weigh-ins. He was very like, fuck Leon and fuck everyone that aligns with him.
I will say the post Instagram of like headshot dead, like you're not even allowed to have guns in England, was elite. Like that's an elite comment. Yeah, it was interesting to hear the fire kind of from after, but it is, I think you have to be fair to Leon too. Like the last two opponents, he's been like very dismissive of their skill set and has gotten totally like dominated. So I don't think you can do that and like you can't just act like Sean Brady's like a nobody and Bilal's like a nobody and they just beat the brakes off you, and then like you got to take your medicine.
And Bilal was loving it more than anybody.
Oh,
his Twitter, just the entire fight, he was going off. Him tweeting just how good as Bilal was was very, very good. Very good. That was funny.
And I mean, you got to
tweeted mid-fight, like just checking what time zone is it. That was like, all
right,
no, it's you're
good.
Getting your jabs in.
You can't say those things, like make all those excuses and then get beat up again. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
And if I was Sean, I'll be honest, how Leon was discussing and talking about Bilal the entire week and not really discussing him would have pissed me off. Been like, dude, and I mean, not to say they look at fight odds, but it's like Sean was the clear favorite going into that fight. And I know he wasn't the previous champ, but yeah, no, Sean, what a performance. I would even say he looked decent on the feet at times. I think he even, not to say he hurt Leon, but I think he stunned him once or twice. And Leon was a little bit like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that you had that in you. Yeah. And that goes to show how much improved he is on the feet, because even if you go back to that Bilal fight, he was really struggling there. Not to say that Bilal is a bad striker or anything, but yeah, just how good is Bilal, man? If I was Bilal, I would have done the same damn thing. Like my entire life made fun of boring snooze fest, and these two guys that I completely dominated are fighting. I would have the hate tweeting session of the year. Just like I would just go all out.
Free Cain, everyone's saying in the chat. Obviously, that was the big news of yesterday. Finally got a verdict on the Cain Velasquez trial that's been going on for years now. And he was up for like 40 to life. They were asking for 25 to life they were asking for. And his team was asking for nothing, obviously. And they wound up getting 5 years, but he's already served, I think, 3, and includes time served. So I think he's got something like 2 years. I've seen some people saying that he probably won't even serve the remainder of the time for some reason. I don't know.
No, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that works.
A little bit.
I would
He,
I would also think from good, just from what he he's like what's
good
it called?
behavior.
Good behavior. I think he's probably
Yeah.
and also
So this seems like a great. I know we wanted him like out, but this seems like all things considered, it went very well. They said the judge was getting choked up, doesn't want to keep a father from his son. Like, he was up against 25 to life.
So I thought an important detail. So, well, when he initially was in jail, they would not give him bail. They kept going to like different judges, and the judge who did this was the one who gave him house arrest, like let him get
I
out.
didn't even know that.
It was like the first judge to actually give him give him house arrest. And then the way basically it seemed like from what I read, he's probably going to be out within like a year. Because it was like because they also, I don't know if there was other things in it that he did things that like accrued more time other than just jail time, because it was something along the lines of like he'd have to do like 1,700 something days in jail, and he already has like 1,200 something served, which I think from the timeline like wasn't possible. But I know in jail you can like do there's like certain things you can do to like work, or some things like chip time off your sentence. Yeah. So it was like 542 more days, and they're saying with behavior, it'll probably be like about a year. He'll probably do like another year or so, maybe less.
No,
great news.
Great news for Cain, and then there was a lot of people in support for him. Obviously, such a brutal situation.
It's like an insane situation, and we all know you can't fucking go shooting out of your car like the Wild West. But when you give context to the situation, it becomes it's a gray area.
Yeah, and then I think the biggest thing, and I think he may have even escaped, if who he shot was
correct.
Not. That's the biggest
I
thing.
saw people saying that too. If he shot a child with a stray bullet, we're having a completely different conversation right now.
Yeah, and then if he shot the guy who actually I don't know if it's proven, but like allegedly abused, or then I think it would have been a lot different. He shot the son, who also, I think the son is not necessarily clean either, but I don't know that for sure. That being said, I think Cain, I wish it was just time served. It's over. But I do also understand the perspective. You can't just go around shooting people.
Totally. Like, I get that. That's very clear, especially out of your car. I get it. But weird situation, gray area. Remember when Cain did WWE, by the way? It was the weirdest little short stint of all time. They did
it against Alberto
versus Cain. No, he came back. Del Rio was out by then, but he aligned with like all of like the Mexican wrestlers in WWE. I think he aligned with Ray. He came into the office with Ray. We did like a joint interview. Cain Velasquez, Rey Mysterio. It was weird. Wrestled in a mask. He was not bad, but it was just like it was clear they weren't going to do anything with him. Son is dirtbag too. I'm sure.
No, I think there was like no. It's just a truly awful situation, and
Oh, look at Brian's comment in the chat. Yeah, we should talk about this. Did Family Guy give a nod to this community or what? When Dave was on Family Guy, they talked about the One Bite audience. He was like, oh my God, when I post my review, you're going to have a line out the door full of UFC fans and insurrectionists. And I said, that's an absolute win for the Spin and Backfist crew. We grew the brand to such a level where Barstool fans, UFC fans were one. The Venn diagram is just a perfect circle that speaks to, how much this show has grown the brand.
Also, huge victory for UFC fans as a whole that a tap out shirt was not mentioned. Like back in the day, it would have been
no affliction, no tap out, no Ed Hardy.
Yeah. And when I watched it initially, I got told, I think Gaz texted me. He was like, how about Family Guy giving you a shout out? I was like, what do you mean? I rolled my eyes. I knew it was going to be something. And then I went and it was like UFC fans and insurrectionists. And I was like, that's good. That's a fun
shout out MPI on both of those.
That's a good, sometimes you just have a great joke.
Yeah, it's good. And I showed the clip to a couple of the guys in the office yesterday that hadn't seen it. And of course, Team Portnoy Tommy Smokes is like, I don't like that they're taking jabs at my guy. But I was like, listen, it's Family Guy. It's not like they're going to be like, oh, remember that time you saved all those small businesses? And then you do a cutaway of Dave, like making people cry out of happiness. Like they're going to take a few shots below the belt. It's like kind of an honor, though. I said the amount of time they dedicated to Dave being on the show, it's like a minute long clip. and they know that he likes no flop and the undercarriage and the crispy, it shows like it's a compliment. Like they're fans, clearly.
No, I thought that was funny.
They gave him the chicken necklace, like the attention to detail on him, on Frankie.
No,
It was
I thought it was
awesome.
awesome.
Honestly,
what else?
even when they had the character like shake his hand like, "Hey, Dave," like very like that's exactly how Dave would, like introduced like, "Hey, Dave," like nice to meet you, like whatever, like just very like casual.
I thought it was great. That's like I said, that's like such a stamp to like be like immortalized in Family Guy or like The Simpsons, like be drawn as a cartoon character in one of the most famous shows of all time. It's so cool. All right, what else? Should we tell the people about DraftKings? Our friends over at DraftKings. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen. Hopefully, I know it didn't necessarily, not all of that happened in the first round. Next round, it's happening. Bet the unexpected, every upset, every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. If you're ready to place your first bet, check out the matchups and pick a team to win. It's that simple. If it's your first time, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BACKFIST. That's code BACKFIST for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I did pretty good on DraftKings last week because Tommy was not doing well. I picked up on Tommy not doing well. I started fading his picks, and I was skyrocketing. Units and on units on units. Wow. It's not nice, but I wasn't, I wasn't antagonized until the end. I did antagonize him towards the end.
We did forget one thing. Shout out Meatball Molly. Obviously, a hell of a career. And she's been on Spinning Backfist a million times. Obviously, didn't end how she wanted it to. I thought she gave a great speech. It's the fight game's tough. You rarely end on top. It's almost impossible.
And I thought the way she went out, the post-fight speech, it was like respectable, it was honorable, it was self-aware, but also, she's her own worst critic in her being like, I don't deserve to be in the UFC. Like, we all know that there's fights in the UFC that Meatball Molly could win, but she doesn't feel that she's at that level. If she doesn't feel that, it's what Dana always says. If you have like one foot out the door, you shouldn't be convinced to be pulled back in a sport like mixed martial arts. Like if you've got one foot out the door and then you decide, all right, I'm going to go through with this. Seemed like she was pretty like content in her decision too. And all the interviews I saw with her afterwards, she's got multiple businesses and ventures outside of the UFC. She's got a coffee shop in Liverpool, a sandwich shop in Liverpool. She's DJing now. She offered to Dana, I'll be your ambassador. I think, of course, take her up on that. Whenever the UFC has events in London, you should have Meatball Molly doing signings or Q&As or stuff like that. But yeah, class act, as the chat is saying. Great run. I said in my blog, always down to fight whoever. You never heard anything about Meatball Molly turning down fights. It was, if it's Erin Blanchfield, the hottest up-and-coming prospect the division has, she'll take her at MSG. If it's someone that's physically much bigger than her, like most of her opponents were throughout her career, she don't care. She's showing up to scrap, always showed heart in the octagon, even in her losses, always fighting out of submissions and clawing out of things. I'll always remember her based on the pain I still have in my knee. That leg kick was devastating. No, I don't still have pain, but yeah, Meatball Molly. And I mean, the double run of the spinning elbows, jumping into Dave's arms, we'll never forget that. That was all time.
Legendary.
Yeah, shut up, Molly.
Some tough matchmaking of her, honestly. I feel like things maybe could have went differently. She got just handed a lot of just big.
Even this fight,
last run.
This fight was kind of crazy.
She gets like the short notice. All of a sudden, she's a huge dog. I mean, from Blanchfield to like Stoliarenko coming down, like much bigger fighter, like grappler, doesn't match up well, but great run by her. God bless. Shout out Molly.
Great run. And we've seen out of the cage, great person. She's taken our friend and former coworker Blaze in. And I said in the blog, she turned like a Philly scumbag into a Scouser. And he's not a scumbag. He's actually like the nicest Philly guy we've got. But just seeing like the behind the scenes, seeing how they took Blaze into their family and he's just part of their squad now. It's like you could tell good people, and we like to support good people. Seeing Patty get emotional in the front row was like, it was sad. It was like seeing him cry. His big sister's retiring. But great run. great run for Meatball Molly.
So,
yeah, we have to address this because I once asked. I was like, "What the fuck is that flag, Jack?"
So there's a guy who works for Dave who's kind of under Austin. His name's Sam. He's great video editor, does a lot of stuff. He's one of the hardest working guys at Barstool. He's always working. He said that I should name my TikTok followers the Jackers. And I was like, I mean, that's an insane thing to say. And then he was like, no, we got to go with the Jackers. And I responded to a few comments saying like, shout out the Jackers, and didn't really catch on. But then he made this flag, which is
it's a Sam creation. Originally, it was on a whiteboard, right? Didn't he draw it on the whiteboard?
Yeah,
and was just like, this is what it should look like.
So it's the nation of Jackers, and there's an MMA glove for the Jackers appreciation for fighting, mixed martial arts. Green for money, the green line test, and then the blue and red, I believe, is what he deemed Yukon colors. I would have done it a little bit differently, but this is his flag, not mine. And shout out to Sam. It's the Jackers flag. It does
say Jackers. It's crazy.
It does look like kind of a lib flag, but that adds to the allure of it.
Well, the red at the bottom looks more almost like magenta than red.
Yeah, if you like,
even in person, it almost has like a pinkish red.
Yeah, and the Yukon does have some red in them, but it's usually just the outside. I would have done it differently, but
would you have done like blue and gray for Yukon?
Blue,
even white. I would say white. It's just red's their third color. That's usually like the outline. They never worn like a red jersey or anything. So, but he did it, and he gave it to me, I think, as a holiday gift. And
honestly, it's a well-made, like the logo I like. It just does, like, you see it right away and you're like, but what is that? When it's a flag, you're like, what are you representing there? And you're like, the Jackers. And then you're like, all right, don't tell me anymore.
I'm with this. It was insane.
I saw this. Very weird. Illia's, I don't really like the guy. Like, I know he's got the aura now. He does for sure have it, but I've never been a huge fan of the guy. He's not like, or he doesn't think his farts smell. He's sniffing his own farts. Like, what the fuck? The fake announcement, you won't believe what's coming next, and then this?
If you do knock out Volk and Holloway, you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want. But it is kind of crazy. He's the chosen one now, right?
It's Lele Anda. It means the legend.
Which also we're not there yet.
The legend. Lele Anda is sick, but
shit! Shout out PC Strickland. Lost my fight this past weekend by decision, but I landed a spinning back fist for the boys.
Go.
PC Strickland, I watched the highlights you put up, and I mean, obviously it wasn't the full fight, but I gotta say, you were winning the fight in those highlights. That's all I have to say. And
in the arena,
it was great.
Shout out him. Respect getting in there. I ain't doing that.
No,
never.
He was throwing some jabs that were serious jabs. Like it was very good, and he was taking punches. Shout out PC Strickland.
Shout out PC Strickland. Self-anointed nicknames, kind of a red flag. It's always a red flag for me when a fighter changes nicknames when we already like know them, when they're already established. I don't really like that. I think who did it recently? Was it Volkov, or it was one of the Russians?
Can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're kind of a low-level fighter, you can change it, and people are just like, "That's funny."
I think Volkov did it after one win. He got like one quick win in the UFC, and he became no time. Or Volkan Oezdemir.
We have to mention, Ev texted about this. Aspinall and John. We felt like we did this back in New York too, when he was like, "Oh, big news coming, just wait on it." But I think it feels as if Dana said last week, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I mean, it would be the fight.
Tom's talking like it's about to happen, and he is.
He seemed for the first time truly like convinced it was going to happen, and that he was even finally saying, "Listen, I fought 7 months ago. It's not that long." Like, sounded like it really would happen in 2025, and really, hopefully, even maybe summer. Maybe it does happen. Maybe John's saying the 6 month stuff, and it's all nonsense, and they're just going to headline International Fight Week. That's the dream. International Fight Week would be perfect.
Yeah. Quilly said, are any of you three going to Miami to see Patty? Dave will be front row, I'm guessing. I am going, and Dave invited me to like sit with him for the first time. So I'm not going like it's going to be my first time, I think, ever going to UFC, not like press or media at all. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, Dave said it's like, we know the Boston guys are going to be there for Chandler. So Dave said we need even numbers, as if like if a brawl breaks out, it's me and Dave against Will and Taylor.
No, that's all.
Bob,
That's awesome.
Are you going to go before him? Because I don't imagine like Dave's not a prelim guy.
Yeah. See, I might have to hit the UFC up and be like, hey, maybe I show up as press for the prelims, because I would of course want to be there for the first fight.
Because there's some like the prelims on this card are sick. Like
maybe I'll just convince Dave to be there with me the whole night. He'll by the end of the night he'll be mad at me, and I'll hear about it on the unnamed show.
No,
like,
low
Bob
key
made
though,
me sit there the whole
they
time.
might let you think they would let you just go in and then Dave kind of goes in.
Maybe he could send me my ticket like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where you go in early and then he,
because I want to be there early for sure. Yeah.
If Dave is the only one, kind of like Theo Vaughn, sitting there with the empty
He'll get a lot
seats,
of respect.
he could get a lot of respect. I mean, not that Dave needs it, but if he
you don't care about the MMA fan respect.
That is true, but yeah, I mean, imagine the picture of Dave at the prelims for.
Quilly said, need a screen grab of Bob and Theo watching the prelims together. That would be hysterical. Also, Hot Billy, good point to bring up. Gable Stevenson. Oh my God, this was fucking crazy. He loses the NCAA championship, and then there was the whole controversy of is it a down run, is it shit posting, whatever, with Will Compton and Texas Deegs. But what a clip! Holy shit! Was it Hendrickson? Was that the name of the kid that beat him?
Yeah, Hendrickson.
The clip of the takedown where you could see everyone in the crowd standing up, like everyone. And then when the match is called, when time expires, people just limbs, as they say, across the pond. Crazy. So awesome.
Do you think Trump and Elon knew what was happening or no? No shot.
No shot. Because I went to the NCAA championship like years ago when I was a senior in high school, and I was with a wrestler and he was explaining everything to me. But like, it was my first time. I didn't know what was happening. And like, that's such a extreme level.
I don't know the scoring that well. The two things that stood out to me in it were DC going bananas on the call. Like he does the high pitch, like, oh my God, John, oh my God, oh my God. Like when he does that, it's the best. That's where you know it's like truly hysteria. And they kept cutting to his father. I almost had
that was cool. That was awesome.
His dad having
he couldn't believe it.
Like the proud, like just the look of shock, but also the like almost instantly the eyes like welling up, like they can't believe it, but with like holy shit, like my baby boy just won the national championship, like as a plus like 2,000 underdog, whatever.
Yes.
But just the whole like everything in the moment was incredible. I went back and just watched the whole match on YouTube just to like take it in, like the whole thing. It's fucking awesome.
And I guess like takedowns have only been 3 points for a couple of years, I think only in the last like 2 or 3 years. I could be.
I was reading that
used
to be
I saw some of that stuff. Yeah. So that's another one where like Trump and Elon aren't processing in the moment. Like a takedown means he's in the lead. Like unless they're, right on it with the points, they probably are in the arena. But I think they were probably just like, oh my God, people are going crazy. This is awesome.
And even
it's a cool environment.
And when he walked, obviously Gable won the gold medal. I guess Lee was explaining to us in wrestling, like that's a big thing. Like you only wear the flag if you like have won really like a medal or like a world championship. But the guy Hendrickson was a legit U.S. Air Force vet, like second lieutenant.
Yeah.
So he came out with the flag, and Gable like pressed him kind of when he walked by, was like chirping him. So I think that kind of added to like the lore of the moment. And then he's like running his mouth off, and then he ends up getting beat like 10 minutes later.
Also,
I was going to say we got to talk
Luke
about
Bird.
Yeah.
I got to say, shout out Hop Billy. Hop Billy told me about Luke Bird and Ev in a group chat. I don't know why you're not in that, Robbie. Maybe Hop Billy is beef with
Billy?
you.
Add me to the group chat.
On
what the
Twitter.
fuck?
And he told us about his girlfriend.
Billy.
And then I was like, oh, Hop Billy, ball knower. That's a TikTok. I made a TikTok. It blew up.
Yeah, your TikTok is funny. Yeah.
And then the scenes of this guy running over to his girl. It's just shout out Luke Bird, legend. The pictures are great.
That's
And
a
DC was
confident
going
man.
nuts over it.
That's a confident man. I respect
Hell
it.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
And also as a product of my dad and my mom are the same height. Little fun fact. I respect it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my parents are the same height.
That is a
Respect
fun fact.
we respect the short
Ev
king.
lore.
We respect the short king in the McDowell household. My dad didn't get the height. I mean, I'm not tall, but I'm taller than my dad. But we respect
Everyone's
the short
joking
king.
that Megan and Joe, shout out Megan Olivi and Joe Benavidez. They're having a baby boy. They just put that out that it's a boy, and I think they wanted a boy because Megan's such a big Yankees fan. She just wanted a baseball player. I'm pretty sure. But everyone in the comments was joking like, "Oh, your kid is definitely going to be like 6'4" because they're the two shortest people of all time." Who knows? Shout out Megan and Joe, great people. They're making an MMA baby over there.
Gable did say he's like he didn't say it kind of like officially, but it sounds like MMA's the next shift.
I mean, it would make sense. Like, what else do you do at this point?
Yeah, I mean, fair.
You can't wrestle anymore. You're not going back to WWE.
And the Olympics are so far away.
Yeah.
It just happened.
It is crazy. I know it's like been talked about over and over again. It's fucking crazy that they let him go back to college. He's 24 years old. The guy's 50. He's wrestling kids.
He's 24?
Yeah. I looked it up because I just couldn't believe it. I was like, he's a grown man. And I mean, you look at like Hendrickson, he looks like a grown man too, but
guy's a vet.
It's crazy. Yeah. Do we want to talk about this card a little bit? Ed, do you have time to talk about this card?
I feel I kind of
if you got to skip out, that's totally fine. Yes, Pick Central's on.
I'll do just real quick. I'll say the ones I really like.
Yeah, give us your favorite picks.
Dober, I like. I just think Torres is very hittable. Dober's durable. Erceg, I think the line's wide. Even though I think Moreno's a great fighter, I think plus 195 with Erceg's skill set. That was what I liked kind of the most off. CRod, I like CRod. And I think Gabriel Miranda at plus 260 is worth a look.
All right. There's Ev's favorite picks. Ev, thank you for sticking it out. Pick Central's on now.
All right.
Also, let's tell everyone, Jack, about, perfect ad, as I say, Jack, because it's Jack Pocket. That's right. Order lottery tickets right from your phone with Jack Pocket, America's #1 lottery app. Jack Pocket has so many lottery games to choose from. They have Powerball, Mega Millions, all the other official state lottery games. Best of all, new customers get your first lottery ticket free using our code FIST at checkout. Just FIST, F-I-S-T, FIST at checkout. Download Jack Pocket now, and don't forget to use code FIST. Jack Pocket, America's #1 lottery app and official partner of Barstool Sports. Fun to play the lottery, but the only disappointing part is it's fun to play the lottery, but the only disappointing part is you got to go to the gas station or you got to go to the corner stores and you got to ask for give me this number, give me that. No. Do it all on your phone. Code FIST.
Code FIST. I mean, it's that easy. FIST.
That's such a good promo code. FIST. All right, there we go. All right. Do you want to pull up? Do you want to do main card at least on?
Yeah, I mean, we could quickly go through the prelims. There's still some guys on here I have to take a look at a little bit further before I would make a bet. But we could definitely just discuss. I'm bringing up the DraftKings odds.
I am as well. It kicks off with Markel Mederos versus Austin Hubbard. That's the first.
So I kind of like Hubbard here.
Plus 160. Yeah, I like Hubbard too. Here. I like watching him fight. Yeah.
Get the rest.
Very well-rounded. Yeah. Good fighter. Is he ATT? Or am I confusing him with someone else? Was he Poirier's boy?
His nickname is Thud, which is amazing. I'm going on his Instagram right now. It does not look like he's
having a guy. Maybe I'm confusing him with Austin Hubbard.
He's from Chicago. He works with Bilal and that crew, which is a pretty damn good crew.
Good crew to work with. Yeah.
What's his name?
Up in Rufus Sport?
Bahamontes. Wait, sorry. What did you say?
Does Bilal still train with Duke Rufus and Rufus Sport? In Milwaukee? I know he trains primarily in Chicago, but does he go up there?
Is that Valley It's the Valley one. It's like Valley Wrestling or something.
Then no, I don't think so.
This is when we need Lee. He has all those answers.
I know Lee would know right away.
I like Hubbard as a underdog here.
Then we've got Jamal Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. Jamal Emmers, big favorite, minus 325. Gabriel Miranda plus 260. And it's too early on in the week for most of these fights. We won't have like over-unders on.
I think Emmers just takes care of business. I think he's really just talented. Even in the fights he loses, he sometimes fights too close. He has a bit of like a Guramis aspect to him, like we saw on Saturday. But I think Emmers will be a parlay piece for me.
This is a funny comment about our next fight from Vince Dice. Vince Pichel will always be one of my favorite dogs to bet. Like, bro, where'd your E go? It's a Vince betting on a Vince with no E. And he is taking on Rafa Garcia. Rafa Garcia's minus 485. Vince, are you still betting on Pichel plus 370?
I low-key am looking at this and thinking, does Vince Pichel have one more in him? He may get a bet out of me. I have to look at it a little bit more. I've not bet it yet.
Plus 370 is maybe worth a sprinkle at the very least.
I know, and Vince Pichel with the mustache, you never know. Yeah, no, I kind of like him. I kind of like him.
Then we've got a legend. Take that out of your nickname, Illia Topuria, because we're talking about a true legend here. Loopy Godinez versus Julia Polastri. Julia Polastri plus 195. Loopy minus 238. Could this be one where you also look at Julia? Like, should Loopy be minus 238 here? I know she's probably like, she should be the favorite, but minus 238 feels wide to me.
Yeah, Loopy's not a girl I like to bet that big a favorite as.
MPI says Loopy Mega Max. Wow.
I'm kind of with MPI. I've always liked Loopy. I've bet on her so much. I have to watch some more Polastri. I know she went to decision with Corey McKenna, lost to Nuts, and like I'm not the biggest fan of hers. I have to go back and rewatch her. Loopy, like I think Loopy's kind of a, if you're at her skill level, don't bet her, but I think she may be just a little bit better. I have to check this girl's takedown defense. But if Loopy gets takedowns going, I think it may be over.
Then we've got Christian Rodriguez versus Melquizael Costa. Costa plus 130, Christian Rodriguez minus 155. I think I like Christian Rodriguez there, but I think this should be a good fight.
I kind of like Mel Costa as the underdog here. I think this should be minus 110 each side. I like Mel Costa. He's good, man. Obviously, I like CRod, but I think CRod's.
Who was his last fight? CRod last fight.
He beat who'd he beat? He was like plus 210. It's early in the year. It was against Austin Bashi.
Which was like, that's right, yeah.
But I kind of think like Mel Costa may find a choke. Like Juicy J found a guillotine choke on CRod. And I think you might see Mel Costa get another find another choke here. I'm a fan of Mel Costa, and I think him as underdog's a good bet.
All right. Then we've got Jose Medina versus Ateba Gautier. Gautier? Maybe Gautier? Is that how you say that?
Yes.
Gautier minus 410. Jose Medina plus 320.
Okay, Jose, if you're listening to this, all we need for you is to survive a round. And then it's War Medina. I want him dead, but on the Mexico City altitude, Medina.
Oh,
War
that's right.
Medina,
We're on altitude
2,
this
round
weekend.
3. I think he may win via cardio death. Like just like, we saw him. You can't get this guy out of there. This is a Jose Medina spot. Mexico. He's home. Oh, he's not home, but he's close to like I think where he trains is elevation 2. Jose Medina. The crowd's going to be going crazy. Okay, the crowd's going to be going crazy.
Let's hope. The last few Mexico City crowds have been a little like
War Medina. All
right, War Medina. I'm with it there. I'm hoping the crowd is good. This card also, looking at the whole slate, a lot of the lines are wide. It almost feels like that Apex card we got the weekend before UFC London with how wide. It's not quite to that level, but what's next? Edgar Chariz versus CJ Vergara. Chariz minus 270. Vergara plus 220. Do you play Vergara there plus 220?
Possibly. I'm considering it. I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, I mean, Vergara is not bad. It's just like he finds ways to die.
Yeah.
And Edgar Chiriz, I mean, Edgar, I think it's a wide line. So I'm definitely considering a Vergara. I have to look a little bit more into it. But I think your inclination is right here. Plus 220. CJ Vergara, I mean,
I would feel pretty comfortable betting plus 220 there. If you're getting like plus 220 feels, again, wide. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but
CJ Vergara is awesome. Remember him running away from, I think it was Vinicius Salvatore. No, Daniel Lacerda. He was just running away from him. I don't know. I mean, like, I think this is going to be a stand-up fight. I kind of like Edgar. I kind of like Vergara. And we'll go from there. I think it's a decent look.
And then is this the main card? Starts here, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe not. This one might be It does. Okay, so it's a 6-fight main card. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas kicks it off. Ronaldo Rodriguez minus 170. Kevin Borjas plus 142. I kind of forgot this fight was happening, to be honest.
This is a fucking.
It is a good fight.
Yeah, it's interesting because Borjas, I think, is pretty good. But Rodriguez is on like an unbelievable tear right now. He's beaten Ode Osborne, Dennis Bondar, Angel Rodriguez. So Angel was his last fight, but then Dennis Bondar was his first UFC. Then you beat Ode Osborne, which is a pretty damn good win. That was at the Apex. No, sorry, at the Sphere. And you may remember,
that's right.
Ode Osborne like starched him. And
yes.
I don't know how Ode didn't finish him, but he found a way. So, yeah, I mean, people love Ronaldo Rodriguez. I think he has a pretty big Instagram following. If maybe not. Maybe I'm making that up.
It'd be devastating if you went to his Instagram and you're like, never mind.
Did he delete it? I mean, it's not
get taken down.
Rodriguez,
Mark Zuckerberg, you lizard.
Mexico Instagram.
Oh, that was another.
Yeah, Lazy Boy. He has 2 million followers on Instagram. People love him.
A fuck ton, yeah.
That's low key.
Insane.
One of the biggest followings in the UFC.
Yeah.
Shout out Lazy Boy. So
speaking of Zuck and all that, Elon this week saying he took down a 380-pound sumo wrestler was so funny. Like it was like 2 weeks after the video of like, is it Micah Parsons? How do you say that?
Micah.
Whoever it was. He was trying to fucking take down a sumo. He couldn't budge him. And Elon was like, yeah, you just got to know the right technique. Like I could picture Elon putting on the fucking Steven Seagal glasses and being like, wah, 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 doing the crazy faux jujitsu. Craziness.
No, you are right. That is one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life. I saw that.
I said Zuck is shaking in his boots hearing that. David Martinez versus Simon Oliveira. David Martinez minus 360. Simon Oliveira plus 285. Probably one where David Martinez is going to get the job done.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype on this David Martinez guy. Simon Oliveira is not great, but he will fight for your money. He lost to Marcos. He doesn't really fight that often. Ever since he came into the UFC, he's only fought twice. Tony Gravely, Daniel Marcos. This is his first fight in over 2 years. I think the UFC knows what they're doing. I think they have a lot of belief in this David Martinez guy. And I don't have a bet here. Should be a decent fight. I want to see him. It's like, you kind of look at these contender series guys and you try to find maybe some spots against them, but I don't think this is one of them.
And then probably another showcase fight here. I mean, not to disrespect Vince Morales, but Raul Rosas Jr., Chiwiwi versus Vince Morales. Yeah. Rosas Jr. is minus 395. This is like, I don't even know if there's going to be a bet. Maybe you bet on him first round submission and hope that he gets it done that quickly. I don't know.
Yeah. submission wise, we haven't seen Morales has never been choked out in the UFC. There's a lot of losses in the UFC, but he's never been choked out.
So that might not be the best. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you kind of look at him, you think, okay, Rosas, who's had tough cardio, he's at elevation. Last time he went there, remember he had that sickness.
True.
Could you see a Vince Morales late? I may be considering it.
Okay. Vince Morales round 3.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider that. I'm not a huge Chiweebly guy.
I mean, I
don't dislike him. I don't dislike him, but I'm not like I gotta bet him. Then we've got Kelvin Gastellum versus Joe Pyfer. This should be a good fight. Joe Pyfer's a huge favorite. And it's kind of like, I don't know, how much does Kelvin Gastellum still have left in the tank? He's plus 240. Joe Pyfer's minus 298. I think Pyfer's going to beat him, but I mean, Gastellum, if he still has a fight left in him, he could put up a fucking war here. Hot Billy thinks it's Kelvin's retirement fight, though.
Yeah,
it's just.
I just think this is like Gastellum has a shot here. I really do. I think Pyfer's a little bit overrated.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big number. I'm definitely considering Gastellum.
I mean, considering like if Lee was able to take Pyfer down, what can Gastellum do?
Yeah, so Pyfer's, it's like, what really played Gastellum against Brady was Brady's top control, but Pyfer doesn't have that, and Gastellum can get back up, and on the feet, I think this is pretty even.
Yeah, it could be. I could also see Pyfer dominating this one though, and getting it done early.
Yeah, but I think like Pyfer has this weird reputation of hype behind him that I think he definitely warrants, but is
it from
that is Vince
B Joe Pyfer like that night?
Vince is right though. That Philly gym is on fire.
It is.
Like Vince is not wrong.
He just watched Sean Brady go into London and win. He's fired up. Who knows? Then the final 2 fights, the co-main event, Manel Torres versus Drew Dober. Almost a pick 'em. Torres minus 118, Drew Dober minus 102. The over 1.5 rounds is plus 150. So we're expecting firefight here. Under 1.5 minus 195.
I know there's some people that like Dober here. I think Manuel Torres just starches him. I think Dober is kind of getting to a point where his chin's a little bit gone. And Torres hits hard, man. He hits hard.
I kind of like that over, to be honest. Like, I could see this being a knockout or a TKO, but I think Drew Dober might have a chin good enough to last him a round and a half.
Somebody dies here, I think. I think somebody dies here.
It's a Rocky prediction. The prediction is pain.
But, hey, I mean, I don't hate your angle. It's just
plus 150. I don't hate.
It's just like Manuel Torres. Like, I mean, it's not just Dober potentially getting knocked out. I think Dober could find a knockout too, because Manuel Torres is hittable.
Yeah. And then this one we were talking about in the group chat. We talked about a little earlier. Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg, the main event of the evening. Brandon Moreno is minus 238 to Steve Erceg's plus 195. And it pains me to say this as a huge nerd and Brandon Moreno stan, but I'll definitely be on Steve Erceg at that price.
100%.
It seems like a no-brainer.
I really don't get it. Erceg, now this is to give credit to Kai Kara-France because he did knock him out. But prior to that, he looked unbelievable in that fight. Looked great against Pantoja. And Kai found that knockout. If that doesn't happen, like, I don't think Moreno's going to knock him out. Let's say he doesn't knock him out. What's this fight going to be? I think Erceg is even on the feet and plus 195. I could see a 3-2 decision. Erceg has the cardio. I just really, I'm a little bit shocked by this line. I feel almost like I'm like what? What am I missing here? Like if Kai didn't knock him out, this fight may have still happened. What would the line even be? I think it would be even.
I think it'd be like close to a pick'em. Yeah.
Now, you have to give some credence to the knockout, maybe his chin.
Totally.
But this much, I would say, like, I was predicting this to be like
minus
Moreno
150,
minus 140. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to be on Erceg without a doubt. I love
Same.
him. I mean, he's just amazing.
I like both these guys, to be honest. I really don't dislike either of these guys in the main event. Flyweight's got a lot of likable fighters.
Yeah. I like Moreno too. Yeah.
All right.
Good fight.
Should be a good fight. This is going to be the first card in a long time that I'm not going to be able to watch live. I'm taking the lady to see her favorite artist in concert or whatever. So I'm going to miss out on it. So I'm hoping to, I don't know if I'm going to like go unspoiled and watch it, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about just getting home and press and play, like at least on the main card forward and trying not to know the results. But I don't know. I might be tweeting along with it. We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. It's 4 p.m. prelims, 7 p.m. main card. We'll talk to you next week.